What's up, everyone? Welcome to Recourse Underground, the podcast for underground music. I'm your host, Danny Defcon, and I got a great show for you guys. I got a chance to talk to Pete Russo, the guitar player of Nightbirds. And for some of you that may not know, Nightbirds is a punk band from New Jersey, and they're doing just incredible stuff right now. They're going to be touring Europe soon. They're signed to Fat Records, and they released a full-length record last year, the summer of last year, and it's just blowing me away with what these guys are doing. So just to give you a taste of their music, here is Born to Die in Suburbia by the Nightbirds. There we go. Born to Die in Suburbia by the Nightbirds. That's such a catchy song. When I first heard it, for like a week straight, I just couldn't stop listening to it. Such a great song. They also have a video for it too, so you could totally just Google Nightbirds, Born to Die in Suburbia, and the video will pop up right away. So really good stuff. But I recommend you check out the entire album. It's a really great album. And all the other releases that came out before that too, as well, of course. So let's start things off with the interview with Pete. Pete was very nice to take some time to chat with me. So here is the interview with Pete Russo, the guitar player of the Nightbirds. I'm really happy to have Pete on the show because me and Pete kind of go back a little bit. I used to put on shows back in like late 2006 and all of 2007 at Hamilton Street Cafe in Bound New Jersey, and now it's like a laundromat, I think. Yeah, it's gone now. So and I used to one of the bands that used to play my shows was a band called Dingus, and that was a band Pete was in, I think, right?
You got that right.
All right, cool. And if I remember correctly, you sang in that band, right?
Yeah, I sang and I played bass, and I think the first show we ever actually played at what do you call it? First show we ever played at the Hamilton Street Cafe. My drummer and my guitarist at the last minute couldn't make it, and so I had to get my friend Jesse to play drums, and I just played guitar and sang with no bass, like a real power violence style, you know?
Yeah, it's
totally. I think we played like 4 songs. I think we played like 2 Misfits covers, 2 Black Flag covers. That was it.
Cool, man. Nice. Yeah, because I remember there was a show that I booked with the Biz, who that later became Rip It Up.
Right, right.
Yeah. And I remember, you were always in the front row, always going crazy with those guys. And then I remember eventually, I think there was one show where you got on stage and at Hamlin Street Cafe with the Biz, and I think you guys did Dingus. I think maybe that's what you're talking about then.
Oh, you know what? I'm not sure. Where was the show that you're talking about where we jumped on after they were done playing?
I think it was Hamlin Street. It was like in 2007, around there.
I vaguely remember that. I don't know. That was a big blur of shows because there was one time that it wasn't at the Hamlin Street Cafe. It was somewhere else. I can't remember where, but it was like a ska show, and Biz was playing first. And what happened? It was like a ska show, but yet Biz was like more of a hardcore band. So like me and like all my punker friends were there, and the ska kids didn't like us at all. They had this like big attitude with us, and like we actually just like wound up just like fighting them during Biz's set. And when Biz was done, me and my friends who were in Dingus like just kind of jumped up on the stage and we started playing. And then, you know, all the guys in Biz just started getting, like, more violent than us, and they just started basically beating up ska kids at this church.
Oh, man.
And then the people who were put on the show weren't happy about it at all. They, like, got on stage, and I was playing bass, and they, like, unplugged the bass and, like, threw us off the stage. And before we left, the bassist of Biz went outside, and he grabbed a bunch of, like, wood chips, and there was this ska band that was playing next. I forgot their name. They're really weak, though. It was really stupid. And he just took, like, this big handful of chips, and the trombonist of that band was being fucking dick the whole time. And so he just took all these wood chips and just threw them directly into the dude's horn.
Oh, jeez, that's great.
It was, like, one of the funniest things.
Oh, man, dude. Wow. I wish I was at that show.
Yeah, that's, like, the only one I very vividly remember, because that was, like, the middle of the day. But,
cool.
Yeah, that Hamlin Street, that place was a really cool venue because they had like, I remember that was like, I started going there like right before like you couldn't smoke inside anymore. So like, you'd walk into that first room and there'd just be like a big wall of smoke, and then there was like the middle room, and there was like the other room on the other side. But I remember I always had a lot of fun there. They would always like look the other way if you were like, 15 years old and drinking. That was always fun.
Right. Yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah,
man. So those were some pretty cool times, and I remember, it was around the time, it was like 2006, 2007, and actually, I can't believe how things have improved for punk in the underground, because back then I think there was a lot less punk rock bands, because around that time I think there was a lot of like screamo and like hipster stuff going on, and the black.
Well, I feel like the thing with that now is like all that stuff still exists, but
right.
The internet. I feel like the internet's been around enough to where like all those other sub genres of like and sub stratas of punk are kind of like there.
Right.
It's just that because like these scenes have been around for so long that you don't have to lump all those bands on the same bill anymore. There's like enough bands out there to where you can have like a show where there's like one type of band and it all kind of makes sense. But the problem with that I see is like it's like yeah, it's cool that you don't have to like put up with as much like lousy music anymore, but like at the same token, like it's not like, for the most part at least, it's keeping a lot of kids like separated and just kind of into their own niche, I feel like. But you gotta kind of like take the good with the bad, I guess.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. Yeah, so I ended up seeing Pete actually at the Dickies show. There was the Dickies played the Brighton Bar in November, and I remember this was actually my first time seeing you guys. And when you guys opened, I didn't know you were in the band, and actually when I was looking on stage, I was like, I know that guy, but. Like back in the day, you had like glasses and you had like really long curly hair. I remember, and yeah. So you looked a little different. But then the more I saw you, I was like, oh yeah, that's Pete. So then that's when I hit you up the next day on Facebook, and then we started talking, and you remembered me from Recourse Records and the Four Angry Drunks, which
Four Angry Drunks. Fucking weird.
Yeah, yeah. Well, see, I'm very appreciative of that because that was such a short-lived project, and we only played those like Meat Locker shows. You know, I think we played once with Rip It Up, and I'm pretty sure you were there because I remember you were talking to me at the show. So
Yeah, I think Dingus might have played. I can't really, like I said, I guess that was like, I think that was like 2008, maybe 2009.
yeah, that's right.
Know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't even remember. I can't even remember 2012 that much anymore.
Yeah, no.
Memory is what she used to be.
Cool. So from what I understand, you're actually not an original member. You joined the band, right?
Yeah. The band. Well, actually, the band started in, I want to say, the band Nightbirds actually started, I think, in like 2008, around the time Joe's our bassist Joe's old band, the Earth, broke up.
Okay.
But it was like a way different lineup. Like Brian, our singer, was originally supposed to play drums. He used to play drums in the band's Forward to Death and Brian. And he was originally, I can't even remember who the other guys in the band were supposed to be, but like that like grouping didn't really work that well. But Brian and Joe kind of like stuck together, and they're like, we're going to keep trying to do this. And what they originally had in mind was they just wanted to sound like early 80s like punk, just
Right.
like
Right.
you know, Southern California, like Black Flag, Adolescent,
Yeah.
Aggression, shit
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
what eventually happened was they hooked up with Mike Catalano from the band Hunchback, and he has like a very, very surfy sound to him. Like that's that dude's milieu. Like he plays on like an old Fender Mustang and like, or was it a Jaguar? I don't know. But and a Fender. I think he had a super reverb. Oh, hang on 2 seconds. Sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sure.